Howdy guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 31 of the Overnight Feed Recaps for season 25 of Big Brother. Good Saturday to all of y'all. Hope you're doing well. We've got Jared as HOH. Remember that. We had nominations yesterday, so we're going to talk about that. But before we do, let's talk about some of the conversations that took place as Jared had his one-on-ones. He wanted to have one-on-ones with everyone before the nomination took place. I'm not sure if he talked to everyone, but he talked to most people. So we're going to talk about that, and then we'll talk about the repercussions as well. Let's start off early yesterday morning, because I just can't not talk about this one. Jared and Cirie touching bases with each other. Now, here's one thing. Jared won HOH. Someone said, and I can't remember the conversation last night, someone mentioned it, actually I think it may be Jared even, talking about winning the HOH. Sounds like maybe it was him and Cirie as the final two on that competition, and that maybe Cirie kind of threw that thing to him. Not certain, but I can certainly see Cirie not having any huge desire to be HOH if her son can take it instead. Had a little mention of that. We'll see when the episode airs if that truly was the case. But we've got Jared and Cirie checking in with each other, talking about a few things, but one thing they talked about was the letter that Jared received as his HOH. I think he received it from his brother, his sister. I can't even remember now. But the big thing is Jared was kind of surprised that he didn't receive the letter from his girlfriend, because he had listed her, I guess, as his top choice. The way it works is you list people that you'd like to hear from, and then they reach out to him and everything. So he's a little surprised he didn't get a letter from his girlfriend. Really? Maybe because the girlfriend is already not writing HOH letters at this point in time. I don't know. Jared continues to surprise me, astound me. I don't know. If there's a girlfriend home writing HOH letters to him, she kind of surprises me too. But anyway, throw it out there. So yeah, Jared's surprised he didn't get a letter from his girlfriend. All right, we did have Jared talking to Bowie Jane fairly early in the morning. I think she may have been his first one-on-one. He's telling her that he just wants to talk to everyone to see where their heads are at. He's playing a little bit dumb, saying, yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to do. Now remember, Bowie Jane is pretty tight with Red and Cameron, so those three. So I don't expect Jared to spill everything to Bowie Jane just yet. So he's playing a little bit dumb with it. Bowie does seem to be a little more supportive of Red as opposed to Cameron in terms of the way she's talking about those two. So Cameron definitely on the outs, even within that group of three. Jared does mention, as far as nominations, that he really would like to narrow the house down to people who get along with each other so they can all just have fun for the rest of the season. There's a strategy for you, Jared. Just pick the fun ones. No, don't worry about who's for or against you. Go for the fun people. So he's telling Bowie Jane, yeah, I just want everyone to get along for the rest of the season. Yeah, I don't think that's the way Big Brother works, Jared. Apparently, after a while, Bowie Jane leaves. Izzy comes in for a little conversation. Jared immediately complaining about how long Bowie Jane stayed in there, talked to him. That was a lot longer than he wanted. And they didn't really talk about that much either. He's saying that he can't stand her. So that's not a good sign for Bowie. Jared's reporting that Jag had said that he didn't have hard feelings towards Cirie or Izzy or Felicia based on the vote, that it was unanimous vote. He's saying, yeah, I'm good with him. Nothing personal, I get it. But that he does seem a little upset with America and Corey still. It seems like he's blaming America and Corey more than Izzy, Cirie, and Felicia. At least Jared's saying that's what Corey had told him, or that Jag had told him. All right, Jared's saying to Izzy as well that he thinks he's going to be safe next week, because even if Red was to win this veto, he thinks that the following week, even if Red was to win HOH the following week, sorry about that, he still feels like he would be safe, because he thinks that Red would put up even if Jared. Let me start just all over that. Jared is feeling okay next week, because he says even if Red was to win HOH, yeah, maybe he put me up, but he put me up alongside America, and America doesn't have the votes to survive. I would survive over America. So Jared's not thinking that there's any situation where he could potentially go home next week. He's probably right. All right, we've got Cirie and Jared talking again a little bit. Cirie is suggesting that Jared needs to tell Red that Cameron is the target, and that Cameron, and say Cameron's the actual target, Red, and that Cameron's already throwing you under the bus. So Cerie's kind of coaching Jared a little bit on how to navigate the waters between Red and Cameron, so neither one of them gets too upset with them. So both of them stay calm going into the veto competition tomorrow or today at this point. All right, we've got Jared and Mecole talking. Mecole saying she wants Cameron out first. That's who she's gunning for because she thinks that... Now, Mecole, she's playing a good game. Mecole is basing wanting Cameron out not on emotion, well, maybe, but she actually has some reasoning for why she wants Cameron out first. She's saying that she thinks that he is the glue that is holding Red and Bowie Jane together, and that if Cameron's out the door, then those two kind of drift apart. Now, I maybe don't quite see it the same way. I see Bowie Jane maybe a little bit tighter with Red. Mecole's maybe seeing it a little bit differently. It doesn't matter. At least she has some understanding for why she wants one versus the other out. Jared is thinking that Cameron's the only one outside their group who could still win competitions, and that maybe is why he would go after Cameron. But he is worried that if Cameron also was to win another HOH, that he could put up Jared and America against each other, which he just got through saying that that he feels like he could win against America. But he's saying that I think that actually he was worried that Jared and Blue could get it put up against each other. It was a long night. And then Jared's saying that he can't stand America, and Mecole saying that America lies. So, yeah, not good terms with America. All right, we got Jared and Cameron are talking. Jared is saying that to Cameron, part of this strategy worked out with Cirie. Jared is saying that he's really leaning towards America or Red going on the block and being the target. He also mentions the possibility that maybe it could be Bowie and Red. He says, or, Cameron, it could be you and Red, but if so, you just be the pawn. I don't want you to worry, my friend. You're just a pawn. And that Red would be the actual target if that was to happen. Cameron is responding to that pretty vocally, saying, I've been on the block a few times. I'm really not interested in being the pawn king this season, Jared. So if you could keep me off the block, I certainly would appreciate it. Glad I'd just be a pawn, but I still want to be kept off the block. Cameron is saying, look, if you want to get America out the door, I'll work hard. I'll make it happen. I'll do whatever it takes, Jared. I'm good sending America out. He says, if you want to send out Red instead, it's going to hurt me. It's just going to hurt me, Jared. But I'll still do what you want done. Either way, either one I'm okay with. Prefer America, but either one I'll work with you. I'll do what you need me to do on it. So he's trying to get in as tight as he can with Jared. Jared finally is saying, Cameron, just so you know, you're like a brother to me. So you're good. Either way, no matter what happens, you're good. I get it. You try to keep them calm and everything else, but you don't need to overdo it. And I feel like Jared's doing that just a little bit. If you do that, remember, there's only one person going home this week. Now, maybe Red and Cameron both make it pre-jury and you don't have to worry about it, but you never know who still might end up on jury and might hold a little bit of a grudge if you overdo it. But yeah, Jared's saying Cameron's just like a brother, so no worries, my friend. You're good to go. All right, we've got Jared talking to Red now, saying that, look, Cameron's the actual target. Hope these two guys don't end up talking to each other, right? Jared tells Red that Cameron's the actual target. He says, Red, my mom... No, he didn't say that. Kind of a little bit later, but he says, Cirie, she loves you. She really wants to work with you. So, you're not going anywhere. You're just the pawn if you go up, that Cameron is the target. Red seems very grateful. He's like, oh yeah, I can buy that. If I go up as a pawn, no problems, no worries. Maybe Red really is buying into this idea that there's no way Cirie would let him go home at this point in time. Or he just understands that the house really is kind of going after Cameron first. But he seems okay to be the pawn. Now, that's going to change a little bit later, and we'll talk about that. I mentioned Mom and Jared and everything else. During this conversation, there was a little bit of a slip-up. At one point, Jared says, and he's talking about Cirie, says, I'm just a mama's boy. And after that, he refers to Cirie as, and Mom, talking about Cirie, says, I don't remember what he says because at that point my jaw just dropped, but he says, yeah, Mom says, I don't know. He followed that up almost immediately saying, but and then Mama Felicia. So he tried to cover himself, and I'm not sure if Red picked up that he was saying mom is in the literal sense as opposed to mom Cirie, mom Felicia, the way they've been referring to those two. But Jared definitely had another slip up. How many times is it going to take before someone catches on to this? Because at least so far it doesn't seem like Red is picked up on this at all. But yeah, Jared almost spilling the beans yet again. All right, we've got that. So again, Cameron thinks Red's the target. Red thinks Cameron's a target. Cameron thinks Red's a target. Yeah, part of the strategy. All right, we've got Corey and America talking with each other. They're talking about the fact that Jag is still asking questions about Thursday's unanimous vote against him. He just isn't letting this thing rest up. It seems pretty basic. It seems like most people could say, the votes were just not there. None of us wanted to vote against Alice. It's not like every single vote hadn't been unanimous so far. So, Jag, nothing personal, but I just didn't want to risk my game for you. And it seems like you could have left it there, but no, Jag really wants to get to the bottom of it. Who was pushing for that vote versus who had to go along. So he's still asking the questions. And so Corey and America are talking about that. Now, America tells Corey, she says, look, Felicia confirmed to Jag. She told Jag that I had been wanting all along to tell him that he didn't have the votes, that he was going home. So she's feeling like Felicia has helped support her case, that she was on Jag's side and the others not so much. But America says she's going to try to remain tight with Jag, stay friends with him, get as much info as she can, and stay on good terms with him. Corey is saying, look, just so you know, I think we need to start distancing ourselves from each other. Let's not make people think we're too tight, maybe that we're a little perturbed at each other. So he's saying, I'm going to start distancing myself from you a little bit for strategy purposes. And that's all it is. So just if you hear something, that that's why. So she's saying, okay. He is warning America not to seem too close to Cameron, saying Cameron's a target. You don't want to be accused of being in too tight with those guys. So just keep that in mind, America. All right, we've got Jag talking to Felicia, telling Felicia that he is still with the 7 deadly sins. That's who I want. I'm going for the 7 deadly sins, Felicia. At the time, I wrote in my notes, I'm not buying it. There's no way. Jag has expressed too much distrust of Cirie and Felicia and all of them for him to still say he's with the 7 deadly sins and all that, as opposed to maybe going more towards America and Corey. Just not buying it. Later in the evening, as discussions take place, I kind of am buying it. I think Jag is just so determined to work with this group, to be part of this big majority alliance, that he's willing to overlook a whole lot of what seem to be pretty obvious facts to us as viewers. But yeah, I think he actually is serious when he tells Felicia that he's still with the 7 deadly sins. We'll see if that continues to be the case. All right, we got Jared and America talking to each other. America saying that Cameron had complained to her or told her that he can see that she's just friend zoning Corey and that she's just using Corey at this point in time. And Cameron saying he knows what that's like. He can relate to that certainly himself. Kind of the way he said it was a little bit creepy, but he's warning America that he knows that she's just using Corey and that she's just friend zoned him. Well, maybe so, maybe not. Maybe a little bit of both, in fact. Jared is saying that that Cameron is just got through suggesting that Jared should nominate America. So, yeah, so we're seeing a little conflict between America and Cameron at this point in time, which Jared is certainly trying to drive a little bit as well. But he's right. We certainly had seen Cameron just a little while ago say he was fine if America got sent home, and how hard he would work to get her out the door. So yeah, he's telling America she's just using Corey and all that, and he's also saying he's happy getting her out the door. All right, we've got Jag talking to Cirie again about this Thursday night vote. Cirie is deflecting, saying, it went back and forth so much. I don't know, Jag. It was here, it was there. So many people talking. I don't know how it worked out. So she's not giving them anything. All right, we've got Matt. All right, a new alliance formed. We haven't had, given that there's 50 alliances or whatever out there, we haven't had many of those form here lately. So we've got a new kind of alliance. I don't know what you call it. Matt has proposed a 3-person alliance to Jag and Cirie, which they agreed to. They said, sure, why not? I think it's real for Matt. I think he's maybe, I guess, wanting to work with these 3. Jag, at the time, I didn't know for certain if it was real, but now knowing that Jag really wants to stay with this group, maybe he's seeing it as a little bit of a real, or at least a secondary option or something. I don't know that Cirie's buying it. I think Cirie's had enough of Jag. I think she's still ready to send him out the door. Now Matt, she's fine with. They already have their own alliances and all that, but Jag is the new addition to it. Matt's proposed this. They're all on board. I had half a dozen names, 3 amigos, everything with 3 in it. Stop naming your alliances with the number of people in it. It's a dead giveaway. I harp on that every single time. But supposedly this alliance has formed between Matt and Jag and Cirie. I don't think it lasts forever. I don't think it lasts long at all. All right, we've got that. We've got Blue talking to America, telling America that Cameron is upset because America picked Cory and because Riley picked Matt and no one picked Cameron. I kind of see that. I think Blue may have something there on that. Blue is saying that she and Jag are down with America, that that America's the only one that was true to their faces, that they can be down with. So Blue and America and Jag, what a group this would make. Yeah, except that Jag apparently still doesn't trust America at all. Blue feels differently. Jag, not so much. I'd love to see these 3 work together. I just don't think it's going to happen. All right, we've got Jared and Blue and Matt talking. It really seems at this point in time, this is right before soon before the nominations take place. And it really seems like everyone is at this point settled on Red and Cameron as the targets, with potentially Bowie as the backup. I think that's the way it's going to go. All right, meanwhile, we've got Cirie and Izzy saying just basically the same thing in another room. Cirie is also saying that Jared thinks that he has both Matt and Blue on his side, and that she's just not so sure. She's saying, I'm not sure if Matt's really on board with Jared, and I'm not even sure if Blue is as well. Remember that conversation where Blue said, I'm happy to cut Jared if it helps my game. So yeah, Jared's a little bit more confident than Cirie is in terms of who they have and who Jared has as well. All right, we've got Cory and Jared talking. Both of them are kind of ragging on their showmatch partners here a little bit. Jared is ragging on Blue. Cory is certainly ragging on America. Now, he said before he was going to do that, but it seems like he's putting a little extra energy into it. So is Cory truly just doing this strictly for strategy, or is he maybe picking up a little bit on the fact that America may not have the trust of others, and so he for his own personal game is trying to distance himself from her? I think that's probably a little bit of it, because he's talking about let me say, he's talking about America, if she was HOH, that she would put up Izzy and Felicia and Cirie, some combination of those 3 as the noms and the backup if she was HOH. That's not good. Jared was going to take that back to Cirie and Izzy and Felicia, right? You would think so. Yeah, he's kind of throwing America under the bus a little bit, more so than I think he needs to do. Cory is also talking a little bit to Jared about Matt, saying, I'm a little worried. Everyone in this house seems to really trust Matt. Me, not so much. I'm not really on board the Matt train like everyone else seems to be, and that worries me a little bit. Jared is talking about options for his noms. He says he was considering or is considering a backdoor of Cameron. Cameron's still being the target, but maybe trying to do something a little trickier, put Cameron up as a backdoor instead of one of the primary nominations. And Cory's saying, if you do that, you're going to get the whole house upset with you. If Cameron is not on the block here in the next hour or so, lots of people are going to be upset with you, Jared, regardless of whether it's a backdoor plan or anything else. He hasn't won enough to necessarily justify a backdoor. You're going to make the house mad if you don't just make it pure, plain, and simple in terms of who you put up. So, I don't know. Is he doing that because he truly wants to see it as simple as possible? Is he saying that because he doesn't want to have the possibility that maybe America or Bowie Jane, probably more worried about America, would go up as the primary noms, and what happens with that? Don't know, but Cory is basically saying, don't be doing that. You're going to make people mad. Just go with the easy stuff at this point in time, Jared. All right, time for nominations. Obviously, we don't see that on the feeds, but when the feeds come back, we learned that nominations on the block this week are Red and Cameron. Yeah, not a huge surprise, even with some of the conversations that took place. It seemed like that was the way it was leaning. So Red and Cameron are on the block. The big question, does one of them win veto? And what happens to that veto? Because there were discussions on that as well. And who's on the block come Thursday? At that point, I think Cameron goes home. But we got a lot of games to play between now and then. All right, we got Jared, Felicia, and Cirie talking outside. They're concerned / upset that people were trying to convince Jared to put up Izzy as a backdoor option. And there was more discussion on that a little bit. Cameron's behind that a lot. But the idea that one of theirs would be put up as a backdoor, they're a little bit worried about that. But they have to feel good knowing that Izzy is the top target for the other side as opposed to Cirie or Felicia or Jared, right? I mean, I would think so. A double-edged sword. Yeah, Izzy's a target, but you ought to know that already. So as long as it's not me, they ought to feel pretty good following that strategy. All right, they're talking about the nominations. Jared is saying, with regards to Red, that Red is so confident about his position in the House that he said that he would actually throw the POV to Cameron and let Cameron win this thing. Because Red just doesn't think there's any way that he's going home, according to Jared. That's pretty confident, right? Maybe too much confidence. All right, so he mentions that. Felicia is saying that, look, this week, hopefully Cameron, if not Red, but we send one of them home this week. After that, next week, she's saying we need to start going after Corey and America and Jack. Let's get those 3 people out. Once we've done that, we're gonna run the House. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. It's not always that easy, but Felicia's got her boot order more or less figured out. She's starting to see the post-jury game and her role in the game. Forget about any divisions that they may have amongst their own group, and there are some. She's not worried about that right now. All right, we've got Corey talking to Cameron. Corey's telling Cameron that the Red might be the target, but that Cameron still needs to campaign. Yeah, I think Cameron's actually the bigger target, but Corey's saying, yeah, you should be good, Cameron, but just don't assume that you are. All right, we've got Red. Tough day for Red, and for a lot of different reasons. Cirie walks in on him crying. I mean, I don't think this was fake or anything else. Red's crying. Red's saying, "Look, I'm stressed. Everything that's going on, it's kind of overwhelming. My birthday is Tuesday. I never have good birthdays. This Tuesday is gonna be my birthday. I'm gonna be on the block. It's just all catching up to me. You truly reach points in this house where it's not any one thing that takes place. It's just everything catches up with you. And you just suddenly go off the deep end and just have to have your little moment. Some people cry in some isolated room. Some people cry in front of everyone. Some people go into the diary room. But I think everyone who plays that game has that moment or two where you just feel overwhelmed. And that's what's happened to Red right now in this point in time. Cirie's trying to kind of calm him down a little bit and all that, but yeah, he's having a rough day of it so far. Being nominated was just the last straw for Red. All right, so we've got Cameron. Well, it's gonna get worse. All right, we've got Cameron and Jared are talking. Cameron not happy that he's on the block. Can you imagine him not being happy? Yeah, I wouldn't be either. Later, he tells everyone, he says, "Well, at least I get to keep my streak alive." And they said, "What streak's that?" He said, "Oh, the streak of competing in every single competition so far." All the vetoes, all the HOHs. He said, "I thought because I was HOH, the streak would be over, but now because of the reset, I even got to compete in the HOH again, so yay for competing in all the comps." Yeah, appreciate what you can there, Cameron. So, but anyway, Cameron is, he's not happy to be on the block, but he does seem convinced that he truly is just the pawn, that Red's the actual target. Really, Cameron? With Izzy on the other side, you think that you're just going to skate by this week. But he feels like he's the pawn. Jared is saying, look, Felicia and Izzy and Cirie were not happy. Or I think he didn't say Izzy. No, he didn't say Izzy. He said Felicia and Cirie, the moms. He said, the moms are not happy that I put you on the block. that they're supporting you. They want you to stay, Cameron. So I kind of went against them, and I'm sorry about that, but you're just a pawn. So don't worry, Cameron. Jared is implying that a backdoor of America could happen, saying that his strategy, his idea of putting Cameron and Red on the block together, it was not to split them apart. So Cameron, I don't want you to think of trying to do that. I've got other goals in mind. And he threw something about if they were both on the block, then if one of them wins the veto, the other one's still there, but then he can go after a back guy. He's just spinning stuff to Cameron. But he's basically saying, I'm not trying to send either one of y'all home. I got other goals in mind. Yeah. All right, Jared. We've got Cameron now coming up with his idea, his fantastic strategy. Saying, look, Jared, do you want to be a star of this season? Do you want to be someone that everyone talks about for forever and ever? He says, let everyone think that your back door is America. Yeah, I get it. And if you want to send her home, then that's fine. I'll work with you, as I said before. He says, but if you really want to do something crazy and exciting, make everyone think the back door is going to be America, but then turn around last second and backdoor Izzy instead. Oh, that would be fantastic, Jared. Imagine how great that would be. Imagine that Cameron's pitching a backdoor of Izzy. Who would have thought those two would be going after each other at this point in time? So he's telling Jared that. Jared's kind of saying, acting like maybe that's something he'd consider. Yeah, no, it's not. But that's Cameron's plan. I give Cameron props. He's tried to play the game. All right, finally we've got that. We have at one point Jag and Red are talking, and I can't remember where they're talking, but they're talking while everyone else is starting to do dinner and stuff. Cirie is noticing that. She's mentioning to Mecole that these two are talking instead of Jag coming to dinner. She's watching everything, absolutely. They're wondering if Jag is maybe still mad at the unanimous vote against them. You think? And that maybe he's trying to team up with Red at this point in time and put something together. All right, we've got, and I think I had a little more of that conversation between Jag and Red. I'll cover in a second. All right, we've got Bowie and Red in the bathroom talking about Cameron. Seems like, as I mentioned earlier, seems like these two are a little bit tighter than, that Bowie and Red are tighter with each other than either one is with necessarily Cameron. I don't know. Red's as tight as you could be with Cameron. Bowie's a little bit tighter with Red than she is with Cameron. And it does seem like both of them are maybe trying to separate themselves a little bit from Cameron in terms of relations and everything else. I say that, but then Red throws out this humdinger of a comment. He says that, look, a while back, I promised Cameron that if we were ever in this situation, both of us on the blog playing veto, and if I won the veto, I was going to use it on Cameron and not myself. Really? You're gonna put at risk $750,000 to protect a guy that y'all are chillbillies, that you just met a month ago. He's saying, I made a promise that if I won the veto, I would save Cameron, and I'm gonna keep that promise. I'm not gonna go back on that promise. Hey, I'm all about integrity and promises and all of that, but Red may be pushing a little bit too far at this point in time. So he's saying that, and Bowie Jane is saying, what? Yeah, no, I don't think that's a great idea, Red. I think you owe it to yourself to stay in his house if you get a chance. And I'm not sure that's such a great plan that you got there in mind, Red. But yeah, so Red's having a hard day. And maybe that's where some of the crying even took place, is that it's not just that he's on the block, but that he's on the block and realizing that he may be called out on a promise that he made earlier, not really thinking maybe it would ever come into play. That he may be in a situation here before too long where he has to put up some promises versus what he knows is best for his game, and it's that emotional conflict, division, it's creating issues. Just psychologist Cliff talking about that. But so Red's saying, I'm going to save Cameron if I get a chance with that veto. That'll go down in Big Brother history, right? All right, so we've got that. Red and Jag are talking. This is a conversation that Cirie noticed a little bit later. Red and Jag are talking. Yeah, nothing major really occurring with this conversation. Just that Jag's telling Red that he doesn't really hold anything against Red for last week's situation, vote against him all. He says, I know it's Cameron's HOH, so I don't hold that against you, Red. I don't want you to worry about that. Red is saying that, getting back to this promise he made, he's saying, look, it may be easier if Cameron wins this veto because of this promise that I made to Cameron. Maybe if he wins it, then I don't have to worry about that thing. And so maybe it's better if Cameron just wins this. That's true. And normally I'd say maybe because of that, Red's just going to throw the veto, let Cameron win it, but then he leaves himself on the block. That's a little dangerous as well. Perhaps in Red's situation right now, the best situation is that Cameron and Red neither one win the veto, that someone else does. They keep the nominations the same. Red thinks that Cameron's a target anyway. Let Cameron go out the door, and then Red doesn't have to worry about any bad promises he made earlier in the season. But he does not want necessarily to have Cameron win. I don't think he necessarily wants himself to win because of what we've talked about. It's going to be a tough veto competition today for Red, I think. Really curious to see what the results are. All right, so we have that. And then finally, Jag, still trying to get info about what happened with that vote against him. Jag just needs to let it go. I understand. You want to figure out who truly was against you and all that. You got to let your gut and your own opinions guide you and not have what other people are saying guide you at this point in time. You got enough people who've said different things to you. You should be able to figure it out, Jag. But he's still asking the questions, and I think he's starting to irritate people a little bit with it as a result. All right, we've got Izzy and Cirie in the comic room. I think they're in bed at this point in time. They're still worried about what Jag and Red were talking about earlier. They're discussing now putting up potentially Jag as a replacement instead of America if Red was to win the veto, but still sending Cameron home. Of course, Izzy wants to send Cameron home. But saying, maybe Jag could go up in as a renom if it comes down to it. And then they're saying, regardless of what happens, assuming Cameron goes home, then we could put up Red and Jag together next week because we're perfectly happy with either one of those going home. So, yeah, Jag is very much into the 7 deadly sins and all of that. Cirie, not so much. All right, we've got Izzy and Jared talking in the HOH room. Izzy is saying, I can't take Red anymore. Yeah, she doesn't like Cameron, and she's not a big fan of Red's either. Cirie's not much better. Cirie is saying, he's down there making this peanut butter fudge and stuff, and I'm hanging around. I just can't stand hanging out with him any more than I have to. So neither one of them on board the Red bandwagon right now. Cirie, Izzy is talking about, did I say Izzy and Cirie? I take that back. Izzy and Jared are talking in the HOH room. I'm scooting ahead. I think I need another morning coffee. All right, so Izzy and Cirie were in bed in the comic room talking about Jag and Red and putting the two of them up together next week. There you go. All right, then we got Cirie and Jag talking about the fact they're out in the backyard. They're watching Cameron playing pool together by himself. And Cirie and Jag are both saying they just feel sorry for him. It's a game. They get it and all. And you do what you have to do. But it doesn't mean that they can't still empathize with Cameron. And they're just feeling bad that he's feeling isolated from so many people for so much of the time in the house. I get it. You develop bonds with all these people in there. So they're lamenting about that. And then, I got ahead of myself. Then we've got Izzy and Jared talking in the HOH room. And Izzy saying that she can't stand Red anymore at this point. And she mentions Cirie. She says, Cirie, she's been snapping at me. She's been teasing me all day long. It's just kind of irritating to me as well. I think Cirie's been teasing Izzy about Izzy maybe being a little heartless, a little emotionalist. I don't know that she used those words, but the fact that Izzy is so against Red and Cameron and so much wanting to see their faces when they walk out the door and just kind of brutal about so badly wanting to see him gone. And Cirie's teasing her a little bit about that she's so ruthless. I think that's a word we'll use, ruthless. And Izzy's kind of wondering about that. And in fact, Izzy is saying, am I annoying Cirie? Do I need to be careful on that? Am I still good with her? So we heard earlier in the day, Izzy had said something about Cirie, said, you and I, I'm still good with you. I feel so great about us. She said, I don't quite see how this finishes up in the end, what that picture is, but I'm with you. So Izzy's starting to wonder a little bit about just how tight she and Cirie may really be. All right, we've got Cirie coming in after that little conversation between Jared and Izzy, and agreeing that if Cameron goes off the block, that at that point Red goes home. You know, worst case situation, they want Cameron gone, but if that doesn't happen, then yeah, Red's the target right behind that, which surprises me a little bit. Cirie has really felt like Red is so loyal to her, but at least in front of Izzy and Jared to some degree as well, she's saying, yeah, if we have to, Red goes home instead. Cirie is saying that that's what Red wants, and this is back when he was crying to her. She's saying, you know, if we have to, if Cameron can't get sent home, send Red home. That's what Red wants anyway, because he thinks his girlfriend may be leaving him. Okay, so maybe it is a point that Red is just kind of throwing his hands up. He sees a little bit of a writing on the wall that he and Cameron are outnumbered. Even if he survives this week, maybe he doesn't survive much longer than that. Red's got to be thinking, you know, another day or another week or two, and we move into the jury phase. And if you get sent home before jury, you go home. So he can go home to his girlfriend and all of that. The other option, you make it to jury, but you're first or second out, and then you spend the whole rest of the season over in the jury house. And maybe Red has just decided that he would rather go now or go to the very end, but he, in some ways, maybe he's ready to go. So Cirie is pointing out that he's ready to go. So if Cameron can't go, let's just send him home. All right, we've got that. Felicia, all right, whole different story here. Felicia has been upset because, remember, Bowie Jane was upset because people wouldn't go to bed early enough. Well, now Felicia's kind of joined that as well. Felicia's upset because people are staying up all night long, and as a result, the lights are not turning off inside the Big Brother house in her room. She doesn't like it. Felicia, you need to have an eye mask in there, and then you don't have to worry so much about it. But Felicia's just being the direct person that she is. She's decided that she's going to do something about it. So she has gone around to everyone else who stays in a room with her, which I think is Corey and Nicole and America, saying, yeah, are we all going to bed at 10 o'clock tonight? Because we need to get those lights off. And they're all like, oh, yeah, sure. Well, that didn't quite happen. But around midnight or so, she actually does round everyone up, forces them all into bed. Jag comes in and kind of has a game of tucking them all into bed and all of that and saying goodnight. Felicia doesn't like to go to bed late, so she's going to force everyone else to go to bed early so the lights turn off. If you can make it happen, make it happen. But I never thought to try to force anyone or to complain about anyone else in that house staying up late and expecting them to go to bed early to make my life easier. It's working for now, but if Felicia continues to insist on that, there's going to be people a little further down the road that say, you know, if we get at Felicia, maybe we don't have to have a bedtime and we can stay up later than we want. So, Mama Felicia, curfew's over. You're out the door. That's what she has to be careful about when she insists on kind of these house rules like that. You know, they aren't your real kids, Felicia. You can't make them go to bed when you want them to. But at least tonight, or last night, she made it happen. All right, we've got Izzy and Cirie and Jag talking in the HOH. We're getting ready to wrap this up. I know I'm going a little long, but we're getting ready to wrap it up. Cirie and Izzy and Jag are talking in the HOH room. Cirie is saying that she wants to have a meeting at some point. Thank God it wasn't last night, but at some point soon, she wants to have a meeting of both the Legends 25 Alliance and the 7 Deadliest Sins Alliance. I'm so tired of these fake alliances. Just be done with them. But she said we want to get both groups together, and I guess it makes sense if Jag is still buying into the 7 Deadly Sins, then yeah, let's have a meeting. Let's just perpetuate Jag's little thinking experiment here as well. So she's saying we need to have both these groups get together at some point in time. Izzy is complaining a little bit. Yeah, she complained about Cirie a little bit earlier. She complained about Red a little bit earlier. Now she's complaining about some other ones. She's saying that she's fine. That she's done with Jag. Had enough of him as well. She's done with Felicia. I don't even know what that was. She kind of just threw Felicia's name out as well. Izzy's just done with a lot of people. You're either on board with Izzy or she's just tired of even having you in that house. It's kind of one or the other, it seems like. All right, we've got Jared revealing to Matt that Cameron wanted to backdoor Izzy. A little dangerous for Cameron, as though he wasn't in enough trouble already, but a little dangerous for Cameron because Cameron has told that to Matt, and now Matt's going to, or Jared has revealed that to Matt, Now Matt's going to reveal that to Cirie. Cirie's going to tell Izzy, and Izzy's going to have yet another reason why she desperately wants Cameron out the door if it comes down to Cameron versus Red. All right, we've got Jag and Blue talking. Jag is saying, this kills me. Jag is saying, you know, I just don't trust America. What's it going to take, Jag? You have it just hand-delivered to you, but now Jag's saying, I don't trust America. Never mind that she's the one that was fighting for me. Never mind that Felicia's confirmed that she so badly wanted to tell me the votes were not there. Doesn't matter. I don't trust her. I just don't trust her at all. So he's telling this to Blue. He's saying, look, America is responsible for me being on the block because Felicia had said that America had said that Jag was mentioning America as a target. A bunch of he said, she said. But at the end, he's blaming America for him being on the block last week. And that he truly believes Felicia when Felicia says that America was upset because she was saying that Jag had said her name or something. So he's on board with Felicia over America, and that's going to taint everything that goes forward, I think, in terms of his relationships. A bit of a misstep for Jag, I do believe. All right, we've got Blue talking to the cameras. Hey, everyone else talking to the cameras. Why shouldn't I as well? So Blue's talking to the cameras. She's saying the tension in the house is so high right now, but that it was still kind of a calm day. She mentions that she and Jared had a tiff. It's her word. She had a little tiff with him because she said something that could have ruined his game. I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was her saying that she would cut him if necessary, that he knew about that and got upset. I don't know. There's something that she said that he didn't like, and they argued a little bit about it. They resolved it. They apologized to each other and all that, but she mentions that. Eventually, we get Blue and Jared in bed up in the HOH room. Jared is telling her about this pitch by Cameron to backdoor Izzy. They're laughing about that a little bit. Blue is questioning Cameron, saying he thinks he knows how to play this game. Well, Blue, hold this mirror up to your face, please, and let's. Can you repeat that again? Yeah, she's saying that Cameron doesn't know how to play the game. I'm not sure Blue is necessarily the strategic queen just yet either. But she's talking to the cameras, so it's good, right? All right, meanwhile, and this is it. We'll finish it up. In the meanwhile, Matt and Jag are talking in the bathroom downstairs. Last conversation of the evening. Matt is saying that if he plays and wins veto, that he's going to pull Red off the block. Okay, I guess. He's saying he does it because he feels like Red's been playing a game of character and integrity. I don't know if it's because he's talking about using the veto on Cameron instead or something. I don't know what has attracted Matt to Red right now, but Matt's saying, yeah, I'll use a veto on Red. Pull him off. I'm going to save him if I get the chance. Now, it could be that because he's tight with Cirie and he knows that Cirie and Matt and Red are tight, maybe he's doing it to further that alliance. I'm not sure, but he's going to pull Red off the block if Matt wins this veto, if he gets picked to play. And then they're throwing America under the bus. Both of them, this is Matt and Jag again. They're throwing both of her under the bus, saying that she lies. Jag is telling Matt, saying, look, America said that she couldn't trust you. She couldn't trust Cameron. She couldn't trust Blue. Jag just doesn't get it. And he's going to pay the price, I think, because of it. So, yeah, they're definitely both saying that America's not quite there in the trust factor. And Jag's just digging in a little bit more on it as well. Jag is saying that at least next week, we're going to be the majority, talking about the 7 deadly sins. Saying by then, we'll be our 7, the 7 deadly sins. We're going to be in the majority. It should get much easier at that point in time. He says, Felicia told me that we're going to make sure that 7 makes it to the end. And once we get to the end, then we very respectfully will start picking each other off. But the 7 of us, we're going to the end, so it's going to be easier next week. Oh, Jag, you just you saddle up on the wrong horse at this point in time. You're all into the 7 deadly sins. I think you're the only one, and you're throwing the people under the bus that actually have your back. I love Jag. He was my winner's pick at the beginning. Maybe not Jag's best 24 hours. We'll see how it all turns out. So with that being said, everyone in bed by around 2:30 or so in the morning. Kind of getting ready for today. We're going to have a veto pick. We're going to have the veto competition. If Red was to win this thing, it's going to be an excruciating 48 hours for him. I don't know how hard he's going to be trying. It certainly sounds like Matt's going to be trying hard. So we'll find out how this all works out. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Saturday. Enjoy enjoy the outdoors, enjoy the indoors with Big Brother feeds, enjoy a little college football. Giga Maggies! I'm ready for the day. Y'all have a great one. Until tomorrow morning, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.